What's up, world? What's up? Sorry, still a little bit under the weather here. Crazy, right? Who gets sick over the holidays? I did, but I'm feeling good. So, for those that don't know, I've been on this whole genealogy journey, right? Just connecting the dots to my past, trace some of my ancestry back, as far as before the transatlantic slave trade, to Portugal. My family and I went to Lisbon. Um, you can actually see some of the videos here. It's just been crazy, crazy, right? And these were black folks. So I found out that my great grandfather, which is bananas, right? My great grandfather was born a slave in this country. Found out what plantation he was on, just north of Selma. And so, I don't know, I woke up feeling energized, feeling good, and I figured, why not take a trip out there, right? So packed the car. My daughter's in the car. My wife had to work today, so that was a little bit of a bummer. But we're gonna hit the road, right? It's about three and a half hours from Atlanta where I live, and we're gonna make this thing shake. So y'all stay tuned. You got it going.
239 miles and a few dozen cotton fields from my home lies the city where my great grandfather was born enslaved in America, Valley Grande, Alabama. George Phillips, one of the South's largest plantation owners, owned a majority of this land you see here. And you won't find his plantation here because it was destroyed during the Civil War.
This church, the enslaved, and the internet are the only proof of the Phillips Plantation existence.
Earlier this year, I shared with you all about my daughter and I going down to the National Archives, pulling census reports, learning that my great-great-grandfather was born a slave in this country. It was at that moment that I decided my daughter and I would take a little field trip. So I brought her here because, as painful as the past is, it's the truth that empowers us.
This is our history, and I don't share this with you because I want you to feel bad or feel less than or anything. But I want you to know the truth. You know what I'm saying? The truth of who we are, where we came from, what we endured. All these things matter. Grandma Nana, she did a great job of just teaching Daddy about the history of kind of what happened, how we ended up in this situation. That's why it was so important for us to go to the Grand Valley.
From Valley Grande, we headed to Selma, and we drove across the Edmund Pettus Bridge.
And you remember John Lewis?
We talked about Bloody Sunday, how the folks who were beaten because they were marching to register our own family members to vote. We also talked about how I worked alongside my hero, activist, elected lawmaker, U.S. Representative John Lewis.
Bloodshed on this bridge named to honor Klan leader Edmund Pettus.
And as she read, I listened.
When your children shall ask you in time to come saying, what mean these 12 stones?
You know, it wasn't too long ago that she couldn't even understand why we came back to the Edmund Pettus Bridge year after year to march. It's important for our children to understand this country's history so that they can gain more context about what is truly going on. You see, our story is about resilience, the responsibility we carry and sharing with the next generation how to move forward on this road with purpose.
Say their names. I know it's the day after Christmas, and I just wanted to take a moment to just take my daughter out here. So much of our history is tied to this area. Got up this morning, I told her, I said, we're going to go on a field trip. She said, where are we going? I said, a field trip. But I want her to be able to just see how strong she is, see what our ancestors endured. I think so often because we don't understand the history with slavery, we don't come to these places and connect these with our own stories. And that's why I started with taking her over to Valley Grande, where our ancestor John Phillips, who worked on the Phillips Plantation, that plantation was owned by Dr. George Phillips. I wanted her to see the interconnectivity, because when they marched across Selma Bridge, they were marching to register our own family members to vote. And so it's just important to make sure that our children understand the history. And so that's why we're here. I know she's ready to go. She wants to go see her cousins. But this is important. This is the foundation of who we are and the foundation of what we're going to do going forward. Right, Kyleigh? All right.